Dylan Larkin scores the overtime winner in Buffalo as the Detroit Red Wings complete the season sweep of the Buffalo Sabres.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. Scotty is also host at Locked On Tigers. Make sure you give that a listen. You can find me at Twitter at BrianFisher971. You can find Scotty at Twitter at Bentley Scotty. We are free and available on all platforms as well. Thank you for making us your first.
As well as YouTube.
Day. As well as YouTube. Up to 117. Gained 2 more listeners since yesterday. We are ever growing. Ever growing.
Ever growing, baby.
The Detroit Red Wings, Scotty, did exactly what we told them to do. They went out there and they beat the Buffalo Sabres again. Much closer game today in Buffalo, but they complete the series sweep. And after what was a pretty abysmal first period, they gathered themselves nicely, especially in that latter half of the third period, fought back from a 2-0 deficit, and clinched the win.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I did not think you said fought there. I thought you just dropped an F-bomb.
I'll listen back.
I was like, whoa. Like the word right when you said back, I was like, oh, fought. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, man. Hell yeah. We're riled up, baby.
Ooh, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, no, I mean, the first 2 periods were abysmal. The team looked pretty rough, and we all thought we were in for, oh my goodness, why can we not win on the road? They don't even have home ice advantage in Buffalo. Like 12 people were at the game.
It was awful. I felt so bad.
Like literally 12 people. It was remarkable how empty the stands were and how quiet it was. It felt like the bubble where like there were no fans. And Larkin even said that after the game. He's like, yeah, we played in front of empty stadiums last year for like the whole season. So like this was really like we were used to it. We were like, damn.
That's
especially the game before. Like LCA was almost sold out against Buffalo.
Oh yeah,
I
was there. It was a little nuts.
So like the going from that to this was a hell of a down step. But yeah, the first 2 periods were pretty atrocious, and then the third period was clearly a much bigger pep in the step, and then overtime was all Red Wings.
So not to derail the conversation, but I'm just like looking at myself in the webcam, and I just noticed that now.
Great, man.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You look really cute today. Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Now I'm
cute.
missing 2 blinds in my window. I'm just looking now, and the second one fell on the floor.
It's just slowly getting bigger and bigger.
Like there's just a gap in my blinds.
Yeah, in like 6 months, you're just not going to have blinds.
I'm gonna have to just use more and more jerseys to block the sun out.
There you go. Yeah.
Anyways,
sun. Look how bright the sun is over there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's bright and sunny right now. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. Yeah. God bless the Buffalo Sabres, because even though the Red Wings were playing like crap in the first 2/3 of this game, they were still in it the entire time. And partly again, thanks to, Alex Nedeljkovic doing what he can to keep the team in it. But the Buffalo Sabres being an under-equipped team like they are, as injured as they are, it doesn't take much to get back in that game. And, the consistently good players on this team are consistently good yet again. Obviously, like we just mentioned, Alex Nedeljkovic made 26 out of 28 saves for a save percentage of .929. His 4th consecutive start, he looked sharp again. Tyler Bertuzzi had another assist in this game and helped facilitate Dylan Larkin's first goal, although he didn't get any credit on that for an assist. He was in the corner fighting for the puck when Robbie Fabry was able to come in and get it. And, of course, Dylan Larkin with the game-tying goal and the game winner in overtime. It's just, the guys who are going to win you games are going to keep winning you games and pulling the piano on this hockey team. That's my new phrase, apparently. I said that yesterday.
Yeah, you're a big fan of pulling pianos, man.
Big fan of pulling pianos.
Big fan of pulling pianos.
It was just, it's a story we've seen 1,000 times. The top offensive line on this team, the top 2 offensive lines, now that they've spread out the talent, continue to be real good. And Alex Nedeljkovic continues to be real good. And Moritz Seider, another assist, continues to be real good. And that's how we're winning hockey games. It's not sustainable. At least, I mean, we're halfway through the season now. Maybe it is for the Red Wings, but it's not sustainable if you want to be a championship caliber team. But like, these are the guys who are going to be the cornerstones of your team. Dylan Larkin's back to being above a point per game player. And with the assist today, Tyler Bertuzzi remains a point per game player. There's just so much talent on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And they, we talked about yesterday the Bertuzzi kind of, moving him down to the second line and how that would affect the team. And he went out there and was on the second line again tonight. And it worked again. He was creating havoc in front of the net. He got 1 point, 2 points?
He got one, but like I said, I think he facilitated that goal. Larkin
yeah. Oh, yeah. We did talk about that before we got on air. Yeah. So he like got the assist. He's clearly such a difference maker, and they even asked Blashill about it after the game and kind of the status of the lines and Bert playing down at the second line 2 games in a row. And he said, look, this is all a praise thing of Bertuzzi, and the fact that we can go from having one really good line and then moving Bert down to 2. And he says, now we feel like we have 2 really effective lines that can produce and score. And that's exactly what we talked about yesterday. That's exactly what we said. Right. I mean, that obviously there's no other way he would have been able to, he's not as smart as us. Duh.
Jeff Blashill, big Lockdown Red Wings fan.
Yeah. You've bumped into Jeff.
Yeah, once or twice, down there at the old LCA. Jeff. No,
but that's huge, and that's in the status of a team that has had such a productive first line, like genuinely one of the more productive lines, period, in hockey for a long time this year, and being able to spread that out and make one change and keep that first line just as productive as it was, while also then making your second line a hell of a lot more effective is unbelievably valuable.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about. Bertuzzi is going to be a competent, not above level forward on any line you slot him in. And, Blashill, as we were talking yesterday and speculating that was the reason, he's basically flat out said it. Bertuzzi is the forward who's producing the most on this team. And you move him down to the second line because of his style of play, he's going to produce. And, we saw it. Obviously, that Namestnikov goal was a shorthanded goal, assisted also by Moritz Seider. But, he's able to get the puck across crease for Vlad Namestnikov to make a nice little play, who, again, didn't look out of place on the first line. And he showed out on the shorthanded goal as well. I mean, he's clearly playing with an extra bit of confidence, having been moved up in the lineup. But back to Tyler Bertuzzi, on Dylan Larkin's first goal, he was down along the boards, as we talked about, where he excels. He's not afraid of getting into the corners and getting gritty. He was fighting for the puck. Robbie Fabry comes in, knocks his guy down, steals the puck in the battle, and goes behind the back to send it to Larkin, who had just come off of a change when Pius Suter had gotten off the ice. So Bertuzzi didn't get an assist on that goal, but he facilitated it. So he was partly responsible for 2 of the 3 goals in this game. And I don't want to go down the conversation we had yesterday, but Bertuzzi's just a threat no matter where he is in the lineup when he is feasting. And he is currently feasting. Who scored a touchdown?
The Rams just got a pick 6.
Oh, beautiful.
It's about to be 21-0 Stafford, baby.
I just saw your face. You did like an O face.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So Kyler Murray's in the end zone, about to get sacked for a safety, and he just goes like this so that he doesn't get a safety, and it was a 2-yard pick 6.
So instead
unbelievable.
Of 2 points, 7.
Right. Yeah. Great decision. But no, you're absolutely right. And having that glue guy that can not lower the effectiveness of the top line while then moving Bert down and having the second line get bolstered. I mean, it's exactly what everyone wants.
The versatility in players is invaluable, which is basically what I was saying yesterday. We're going to keep breaking down this game, probably talk mostly about Dylan Larkin this next segment coming up. But first, I got to talk to you guys about BetOnline.ag. BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. New year and a new updated desktop and mobile website. To sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit, just use promo code LOCKEDON to get started. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Do not wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and the easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. BetOnline. It's where the game starts.
BetOnline.
BetOnline. I didn't say it that time. Getting ahead of myself. All right, Scotty, we're going to continue our conversation. Well, you know that. Of the recapping the second Buffalo Sabres game in a row. The Red Wings again won 3-2 in overtime. The third overtime win over the Sabres this season. To complete the season sweep of the Sabres. If there's ever a team to season sweep, it'd be them. And a couple of get-right games for the Red Wings as they now have a 2-game win streak. This is a hell of a way to create an upswing as they go into 4 straight days off because they don't have another game until Friday. Neither here nor there. Dylan Larkin played out of his mind today. And I'm getting tired of pretending that he is not an elite one center in this league.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm getting tired of pretending that he's not.
Yeah, I think everyone is. Look, man, like he going into the game, he was back down to exactly a point a game.
Back down, as if that was bad.
Right, back down to 34 points in 34 games. Then he comes out tonight, gets a nice little two-piece with a side of a dub. Comes back over a point a game. The game winner, just absolutely remarkable, and I think, I don't want to keep bringing this back to Bertuzzi, but like, I think that is why it's so possible for Bert to go down, is because Larkin is so damn good that if you give him even those like glue level guys, and Raymond's obviously not a glue guy. I mean, he's hopefully a pretty damn good winger in the future. Yeah. Right. But he's a 19-year-old rookie right now. And you can give him Vlad Namestnikov and a 19-year-old and go out there. And as long as Larkin's 1C, that first line's going to produce. And that's more value than is measurable.
Yeah, and if you would have asked me 2 years ago what I thought about Dylan Larkin, I would have told you that he's probably on most teams a second-line center. And we've had this discussion before. And that was at a time when the Wings were at their all-time worst, and the team didn't have a lot of pieces to work with. The top line was like Bertuzzi and Mantha was going hot and cold. Bertuzzi was going hot and cold, and they just couldn't find a way to gel. And, of course, injuries were a part of it. And I was genuinely like, Larkin's just not it, man. Like, he's not a genuine 1C. And how my tune has absolutely changed watching him perform this year. And the one thing that was in the back of my mind that was like casting a little shadow of a doubt, I'm like, okay, well, how much of it is how much of it is Dylan Larkin's just absolute like skill? How much of it is him feeding off the talent around him? Well, now they've moved Tyler Bertuzzi down to the second line, and they brought Vlad Namestnikov back up. Lucas Raymond's, despite a goal last night, hasn't really been producing a lot of offense, but Dylan Larkin has continued to thrive on his own. Dylan Larkin, precisely to what you just said, Dylan Larkin has been the top line for the Detroit Red Wings. As long as he is 1C, that top line is going to remain lethal. And he's just continued this season to cement his status as an elite 1C. Like you said, he's 36 points now in 35 games?
36 and 35, yep.
Yeah, he has got a split of 18 goals and 18 assists. He's a lethal weapon, both, as a goal scorer and a playmaker. He's getting assists and goals at the same clip. So, yeah, he might not score 40 goals. He might, but he might get 30 goals and 30 assists for a solid 60 points. He might get 40 goals and 40 assists for a solid 80 points. He's still so young and his talent is still so good that it's hard to tell where his ceiling is at, especially when he's playing so well this season. And again, he's playing this well with a team that's not complete yet. Put a couple more pieces around. I'm not saying that Bertuzzi and Raymond aren't great pieces to have, but, Raymond is still very raw. He's playing great, but he's still very raw. You can get Raymond, once Raymond, hits his prime, imagine how they're going to be feeding one another. Bertuzzi's going to keep doing what he's doing. Like, Larkin is going to feed off of that as well, and he's going to get elevated to an even higher level.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that people forget so quickly is how young he is, man.
Yeah, 24, right? No, 25.
25. Like I mean, because he's been here for 6 years already. People are like, oh, like, Larkin, the veteran, whatever. He's 25, dog. Like, he's gonna be here for a minute still.
Yeah.
And that's and he could even take more strides and continue to get better. We've seen so many people hit their prime, like their true primes at 26, 27, 28. Like, that's like, he's so young. He's so young and still has so much more hockey to play for this team. And it's awesome. It's awesome.
What was that factoid? Like, Nicholas Lidstrom didn't win his first Norris Trophy until after he was 30, and then he won 7 in that final decade of hockey he played. Yes. But he won his last Norris Trophy at like 40 years old. I mean, some players, and Nicholas Lidstrom before that was already amazing, but some players just continue to grow and evolve until long past their prime should have ended. Alex Ovechkin is a perfect example of a guy whose prime should have ended like 3 years ago, and he's still out there putting up 30, 40 goal seasons.
Absolutely.
And obviously these are more exceptions to the rules, but Dylan Larkin has continued to grow. Like you said, 25 years old. He could still be getting better. And with the pieces around him.
Having a career year at 25.
Yeah. And as the pieces around him continue to get better, like I said, just going to continue to elevate him further.
Absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing. I think for 4 of his 6-year career, maybe 3, maybe 4 is a little too harsh. For probably half of his career, he's been on some pretty horrid teams. I mean, either teams that were selling people off and like trading away and selling at every deadline and every offseason and actively trying to get worse.
Yeah.
Then the rock bottom team of 19, where it was just an absolute bleep show. Like he's been on some pretty bad teams with little to no talent around him, and he is such a playmaker. Like, that is truly what he is, and he will score his goals, but he's going to try to find the best opportunity to score, even if that's not him putting the puck in the back of the net.
And
having right, exactly, and that's fantastic, and being able to surround him with better talent that can actually utilize his playmaking abilities is going to only make him better and better. And I think that this is like the first year of a slingshot effect for Larkin, man. I think as this team continues to get better, his stats are going to be better than they even are.
Yeah, and I think it's almost as if how great Moritz Seider, Alex Nedeljkovic, and Lucas Raymond have almost overshadowed how great Bertuzzi and Larkin have been. Obviously, we appreciate it, and Detroit Red Wings fan base appreciates it. But I think outside of our market, people don't quite realize how dangerous Larkin and Bertuzzi have been this season. And I think they're gonna realize real quickly in the next couple of years how elite Larkin is. Same with Bertuzzi. This top line, well, top 2 lines as they move Bertuzzi down, but those 2 players, the league's going to be put on notice real quickly here about how good they actually are. And it coming from, a person who was skeptical about Larkin just last year and the year before that. I mean, he has becoming still an unreal talent in the NHL. I mean, he's at 18 goals already. He's going to eclipse 30 at this rate easily for the second time in his career. He's an all-star for the second time in his career. I think in the eyes of the league, he's an underrated player. And they're going to learn very quickly that Dylan Larkin is not to be messed with.
You going to learn right quick, baby. You going to learn. You're going to learn today. For real, though, like, there is, I completely agree with you, and I think that is, again, a product of him just being on some really bad teams and his
injuries
production.
To him.
Right, and his production lowering because he wasn't given any talent around him, and now, I mean, we're seeing him finally start to blossom into the player that everyone thought he was going to be after his rookie year at whatever, all-star rookie at 19 or 20 or whatever. I mean, he's
set the speed record.
Yeah, damn right. And so we're just seeing that finally. We're within our fan base. We're finally starting to be like, okay, like this dude 1C absolutely can be 1C on a championship team. And I think it starts within the fan base, and then it will It will grow out as the team gets better, especially, right? Like that's obviously probably the biggest part of it. And the team's on the way up and Larkin's on the way up. And I see those as very linear and equal paths.
We'll make sure the league knows. We'll make sure.
If they don't learn, we'll make sure they learn.
We'll make sure they know.
We'll take them to school.
Did you also see this little factoid that the NHL Public Relations put out after Moritz Seider's assist? Among defensemen to debut with the Red Wings, only 2 required fewer games than Moritz Seider at 40 games played to reach the 25-point mark. One being Jeff Sharples, the other one, Nicholas Lidstrom.
That's some company.
It's some company. I don't know who Jeff Sharples is, but man, Nick Lidstrom.
That's some company. You know, I heard Lidstrom is back in the Wings organization. I don't know.
Is he? I hadn't heard that.
I heard that you hated it.
Hold on now. that is some falsification of information right there.
No, that's obviously not true. But it is going to be cool. Like, you know, Liddy did say, you know, he would he would have the opportunity to like talk to defensemen and kind of work with the defense a little bit. And it would be very cool to have Lidstrom talk to Mo and help him with stuff and be there to answer questions and such. And I think Twitter might explode the day that Lidstrom comes over for like a weekend or a week or whatever, and you know, is out on the ice next to Seider. And if somebody grabbed a picture of that, I think the internet would be struggling. Red Wings Twitter would be that would be it for the day.
Oh, hey, I don't have a second ad read. Let's keep going. I just looked. It's like, oh, cool. We're good to go. Let's keep rolling.
Let's roll.
No, that would be amazing. But hard shift here. Hard changing of gears. Do you want to talk about your boy, Giovanni Smith?
I am always down to talk about Giovanni Smith.
Because either he makes his presence very well known via a fight, or he's completely invisible on the ice. And that prompted my brain, as small as it is, and as few IQ points as there are, to think, what is his long-term role on this team, and is he a sustainable piece for this team in the future? And I know he's your boy, and when he gets in the fights, he's learning really fast how to beat the crap out of people. You know,
damn right.
The fights this season that he has gotten into, he's slowly beginning to dominate them as time goes on.
Damn right.
But I'm more concerned about that type of player's role, how long it can be sustainable, and whether or not it's part of the long-term outlook for this team. And I love Giovanni Smith, and I love what he brings. But can it be a cornerstone for this team going forward? And he's only 23 years old. I just want to put that out there right now.
Yes. So I think it's definitely fair given the current level of production and style and everything. It's a fair thing to bring up. I think that there is absolutely a role for him, and we all know, you know, he's one of my favorite players ever. So we can start with that. Like, okay, like whatever, maybe a slight bias, sure. But regardless, I do think that there is a role for him, and the production would need to go up for that role to be solidified within the future plans of the team. Absolutely. But in the same breath, I think that having like a fourth line grinder like that, who you are not afraid of having him be in the box for 5. You know, it's not a huge loss, and I think that kind of stuff takes the pressure off of so many other players. You're not going to have to worry about you're not going to have to worry about any of your like top 6 getting in a fight and going out and missing a significant chunk of time, and you can just be like, all right, we want to retaliate. Let's send Giovanni out there. You know what I mean? And again, I do think at the end of the day, if he wants to solidify himself for the future plans, that will probably always be his bread and butter. However, the production would need to step up, and some of that hopefully just comes with getting older and getting more experience. Some of that might come with getting a few more minutes. I mean, he's been playing like 8 minutes a game for a lot of games, and it's hard to get too much production out of that. But he's also, I mean, he's a fourth line dude, third line at best. So like in his current state, and I'm not saying he's going to go out there and ever be a top six forward for a competitive team or anything, but I do think that, I mean, we've seen flashes of really good passing with the puck. He's super, I mean, he's a super unselfish player. I think if you get another decent, third or fourth line goal scorer down there that could also produce and put him on a line with Giovanni, you could see some stuff happen.
Yeah, actually, I agree with everything you said, except for one thing, and that's that his production has to go up. To be honest, I don't know how. I don't think long term. He's still young, and that's the biggest benefit to him is his type of role is very niche. I don't think his type of role needs a lot of production, but I think his type of role is very time sensitive, more so than other roles.
Sure.
Any guy who plays a very physical hockey game tends to fall off way faster than guys who are skill based, unless there's like some, external circumstances like injury. So while I don't think Giovanni Smith actually needs to start producing more, I think his role is very niche in that he'll always kind of be a fourth line, fringe hockey player on this team. Like sometimes he'll be a healthy scratch, sometimes he won't. I think his role is always going to be put him in the lineup if you want a spark of fire under the team's ass. Put him in the lineup if you want him to go out there and bring some physicality because the team's playing like a bunch of wusses. And I think that's fine because I think this is where you have to start balancing. And this is where I agree with you. I think you just have to start balancing expectations because it wouldn't be fair to Giovanni Smith to expect him to score, a ton of points. He's not. The expectations aren't the same as they would be for a Michael Rasmussen or Philip Zadina because those were 9th and 6th overall picks. Giovanni Smith wasn't that. He got drafted with the Red Wings having much knowledge about what he is. His role on this team is going to be the guy who's going to get into fights. That's what they want out of him. And I'm okay with that, but I'm just how much stamina is there in that role? I look at a guy like Luke Witkowski, who isn't really all that old, but now struggles to get into an NHL lineup because, without the skill set to remain in the league, he struggled. He doesn't, I think last I checked, and it's been a couple of weeks since last I checked, he had 1 point at the AHL level. And the guy's only 31 years old, and he's already fallen out of the league for pretty much all there is. Sure. Now, Smith's only 23, so he could still have a nice 6 or 7 year career with the Red Wings and be a part of their future, so to speak. But with him, point production is not really the thing. It's just how fast will the skill set fall off when you're the enforcer type.
Sure. So I guess my question would then be, what would you say he would need to do to maximize his stay in the Red Wings or in the league period then, if there is any?
Probably, well, obviously, obvious one for a guy like him is stay healthy. You can't get injured too much, getting into too many fights. But I think a lot of the reason why these enforcer type players fall off the league is because they can't keep up with the speed of the game. And he doesn't have trouble keeping up with the speed of the game from what I've seen. But just being able to keep quick feet underneath you so you keep up with the game's pace when you are playing. Because while you are just getting thrown into the lineup sometimes to get into a fight, if you can't keep up, even on the fourth line level, you're going to be more of a detriment out there than, the boon of getting into a fight's going to bring you. You have to be able to have enough hockey IQ and have enough speed to keep up with the game, even if you're not producing points, so to speak.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think my dream scenario would be that
top line 30 goal scorer.
Well,
you want him to be Brad Marchand.
Sure. But I think my realistic dream scenario would be to him kind of peaking out at like a really like a third line winger. And I think if he's not in the box once every other week or something, he can get you a goal. Maybe the biggest thing with him, we haven't seen too much goal scoring really at
except that one goal he had that was an absolute rocket.
That was a snipe show, yeah. We haven't seen too many examples of him putting the puck in the back of the net, but his passing has it's looked good. I think his ability to see the ice is really an underrated asset for him, and something that he's a lot better at than people give him credit for. And so I guess my perfect scenario would be that he continues to be the enforcer, obviously stay healthy first and foremost, but continues to be that enforcer role. And up at the third line, maybe he can get up to like that 11, 12-minute mark instead of down in like the 7 to 9-minute mark. So he's having more opportunities to kind of stand up for his teammates and is out on the ice just more often in general. And with that, then we get more depth, whether that, we've talked about a million times that we need center depth and such, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, in my eyes, his situation will have, that's not even what I want to say. The team getting better will have a large impact on his situation going forward. Maybe even more so than just how he continues to progress.
Yeah, and I love what he brings to the team, and I love the tenacity that he has. And so him becoming a constant fixture on that third or fourth line, instead of being in every, occasional healthy scratch, just slide in the lineup, they put some fire.
Right.
That would be a huge boon to the team, because having a guy like that who has enough skill to stay in the lineup every day, that's, I keep saying it, but invaluable.
Right.
You need that kind of guy.
And I think he's never going to go out there and score, 30 goals, probably even 25, 20 goals. But
I'd be happy with like 15 as his career
right.
guy.
But like if he can go out there and continue to improve his passing at the level that it's already at, and if he can go out there and get 12 minutes a night and put teammates in, not turn the puck over, put his other line mates in situations where they could maybe get some scoring opportunities, and whenever he's on the ice, have the opponent's head be on a swivel, I will gladly take that.
Wonderful. I completely agree with you, man. You have any final thoughts?
Go
Stafford?
Yes. I wanted to make fun of you for something. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, you so much to choose from.
No, there was something. I think we brought it up earlier. I had some. Now I don't remember it. Oh, did you see the video I tweeted today from the Locked On Wings account?
No, I did see something. Oh shoot! Now I'm drawing a blank because I did actually.
No, it's literally just us saying we ball. I clipped it from a video from a few days ago.
Oh, I meant to do that. Well, good on you for actually doing it, because I'm an idiot.
No. It was just I was going through and checking out the YouTube today, and seeing the content standards, and and that was and I came across that one part, and I was like, oh, I'm clipping that. So
this was a particular favorite of mine.
Is it the horse one?
It is the horse one. If my camera.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of that one.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny one.
No, but we ball.
We absolutely
ball. Absolutely, we ball.
Thanks for making Locked On Red Wings your first listen every day. Now make your second listen to Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. They're your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. It is free and available on all platforms, just like us. We'll be back with a new episode tomorrow for you guys. Same time, same place. See your team every day.
Every day.